through.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Thank you. Draw my dinner.
We are live. Coming from what is going to probably resemble more of a reserves game than the seniors game due to the notable absences tonight. It is the Hobart Phoenix taking on the Kingborough Huon Kings in round 19 of SBL action, Scott. And, well, what can we say? A big night of training for the Chargers, a big night of news with JB on the TV. Thank you very much. And, Scott, what can we expect to see out of this one? We don't have stats with us tonight because, well, half the players don't have any stats.
Well, I think we'll take it as it's going to be a bit exciting, won't we?
We'd like to hope so. We've even got graphics for you.
A few fresh faces, a few people that might not have played seniors before or had a lot of minutes. Noah Johnson starting for Hobart Phoenix.
A few from, and as you can see, proud father CJ on the bench there filming that. As Billy Buraki gives it to Dolliver. Stratsma getting some minutes this week, got none last week, which was quite a surprise. As Dolliver goes for the hook shot, rebound by Joel Davey. I can call that one. Johnson up the other side of the court. Number 7, who have we got?
Amos.
Nick Amos. I had the name on the tip of the tongue there. Davey on the far side. Davey in the post. Screen by Davey for Johnson. The triplets getting it done there. And Noah Johnson gets the opening basket, and that's got to be a proud moment for Father CJ. Better than opening up the game with a technical like he had at the start of the season, Scott.
Yeah, much better performance. We're happy to see that. See him underway early. Confidence boosting shot.
Absolutely. Billy Buraki. Van Sant, the bad boy teacher, guarded by... Well, he did walk there, not called. No shot there. We'll get to that issue later. 1 second. Fires a shot. Doesn't count. Didn't go in. That's why it doesn't count. Shout out to the Sports Centre Canteen for sponsoring us with chocolate cake, meat pies and bottles of coconut, Scott.
They always do a good job.
So does my bank account, especially when you pay for it, unlike tonight. Joel Davey catches at the mid-range. Looking to post up. Corey Davey, with more of a set shot than a jumper, reminded me very much like myself at the end of a shoot-around practice today. The old knee has gone. If anyone's out there, I'd like to give it a massage. Greatly appreciate it. Buraki to Van Sant. Out to Brzezinski. Dolliver misses. Physicality tonight between him and Davey. Corey of Davey will be interesting. Van Sant, too easy down the lane. Nice layup there. We're tied at 2-2 with a little over 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and both sides notable with absences tonight, Scott. Who are the big absences, so to speak?
Oh, I don't see Lucas Simpson for the Kings. No Trey Nichols, obviously. No Elijah Pawson involved with Chargers training. No Geordie Hargrave, Lockie Boucher, Callum Barker for Hobart.
So almost half the senior squad of the Chargers not there, as Davey scored previously on the basket. They're back down the break up, Kingston miss.
Robbie Inch is out tonight as well.
Robbie Inch is another notable out. In saying that, I did take a photo of the team list, potential team list. As Noah fires a 3, he's missed that one. Got to keep his head about him, the young fella. It's the worst part about confidence. You can drain it too quickly if you're not careful. A lot pass there to Stratsma. Gets the rebound and the score. Very limited minutes for him last week, Scott. What did you think about the tactics behind that one?
Oh, I think it was it meant something last week's game. It was a must-win if Kingston wanted to finish on top. So maybe Coach Cook thought he was playing his premier lineup as much as he could. Bit of foul trouble at the end, which saw that not eventuate for the whole game.
Amos goes bang. It is 4-7 in favour of Phoenix, and news in from the women's game. Phoenix defeating the Kings in the women's division, and you're not going to believe it, we'll get to it at the timeout, but a huge scoring night for one particular individual, Scott, the likes that Michael Jordan would certainly be proud of. Stratford not looking with the ball, gets a deflection of the score, no foul called. Brzezinski, out to Buraki, back to Brzezinski, stolen by Davey of Joel. Needs to hurry up and increase his payments to the bank account. 1, I need the money. 2, if he wants good articles written about him. Nearly carried by Amos. Gives it to Davey, who nearly walks. Top of the circle to Johnson, guarded by Brzezinski. The physicality of Dolliver and Davey, Corey, that is, will be interesting. Davey of Joel and Van Sant, bad boy teacher. Out to Corey Davey. It's like calling the Danaher brothers. Sorry, that was Dwayne out to Corey, and that's a miss nonetheless. We had a phone vibrate. I felt my chair vibrate and I didn't fart. That'll be 2. on Corey Davey there. As we alluded to, a big scoring night in the women's. And Scott, what would roughly be the scoring record, before we reveal this number, the scoring record in the women's division?
Look, sadly, unlike some other leagues, the Southern League doesn't really keep historical stats. So,
well, we'll say history tonight. The Charlotte Thompson has apparently dropped 63 points.
That's a huge night. That's a huge night in anyone's book, isn't
That
it?
is game 2, 86, Eastern Conference first round, as Biraki makes both of those after an acrobatic drive. 63 points, I don't care what league you're in. Get a body on it. Now, if that's the shot clock. Now, my question there, Scott, I know the ref's technically the correct call there to bring them back, but if there's been a shot clock violation, would you just not let the clock run to a rough time and take the ball from the half court? Because all of a sudden you've given Kingston this 2-on-1 advantage.
Yeah, you're possibly right there. You could say not possibly, probably.
As Davey's sharing the majority of the ball on the bench, we have Johnson Pooey, our man, hasn't been in the commentary box lately, and Brad Vanderkamp. Corey Davey goes in hard, gets fouled, and that'll be a responding basket with 2 shots to come. As we see the great CJ Johnson, one of many from the Johnson family, just giving a bit of advice, and pretty scary to think that he's one of the more unsung brothers of the family, Scott.
Correct. I'm not sure how many people actually know the connection, but it certainly is a very famous connection.
As many people, we'll let you work that one out, people, but let's just say one of them was a championship player at a very elite level, and the other one had the ability to literally jump out of the gym.
Hall of Famer even.
Finals MVP, all defensive. I think many people will guess who it is. There was Double J, there's CJ, and there's here DJ. As Noah Johnson goes in half of the drive, he's missed that. Wanted a foul, didn't get it. He's just got to calm down. Coming down the 3-on-2. Corey goes contested shot hard. And there's been another contestant. That'll be a foul call. That'll be 2. And one's been called on Dwayne Davey, not Corey.
Probably lucky. I don't think they can afford foul trouble tonight, either side.
Absolutely not. As we see a substitution here, Dolliver checking out of the game, and that will be for number 16, Jake West. Our friend John, our friend at the Salmon Company, has checked in. Brezinchek has made his first. Makes both. And let's hope the Kings just aren't fish out of water here with a experienced bench.
I really want to see Westy on the line tonight. I think it's going to be something spectacular to see the underarm 3-throw streamed live.
Haven't seen that since Rick Barry. Oh, a nice up and under from Davey. He's tipped his own work in there. Good hustle, and they've given him a cheeky little warning there. Bit of emotion coming into it. They're pulling the game extremely tight, Scotty.
A bit early for emotion, wouldn't you think, JB?
No.
5 minutes in.
I wouldn't say it's too early for emotion, particularly with these two teams, particular players, and relationships around others who may be involved in the game, Scott. As Strathmore goes inside and scores, that's why the man needs to be starting in these sides more. He can play a crucial role, and that'll be a
Timeout.
4:15 remaining. The scoreboard says 8 and 10 in favour of Phoenix, but I really would have thought it was going to be a 10-all. There it is, 10-all.
I was about to say, I've got 10-all on the screen.
10-all on the screen.
Now, we should take time in this timeout to delve into something that's troubling me greatly. One of the Chargers' head media personalities, your good self, face on all the Chargers TV, the king of the live stream here from Kingborough. No Guernsey in the media game this year. Are you injured?
I tell you what, I don't know whether it's the 96 kilos I lug around. I don't know whether it's the fact that I pulled up sore today. I honestly don't know what the go is. I had ongoing discussions with one Ronald Riggs, but unfortunately a Guernsey not available.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
Neither do I. I will tell you this though, thanks to National Pies, I'm able to comfort eat my way out of the situation, Scotty. But nonetheless, I am more precautious now, because let's be honest, I think there's more danger in me not playing, because they've got me as a courtside announcer, And the last thing that I think the Chargers want is me turning 3,000 people away out the door at the sound of my non-soothing tones.
Well, look,
And things could get a bit personal. I'm just saying, people, if you turn up to the deck Friday night, if you haven't got a ticket, get them now. There's only about 300 I know there was an extra 300 sold, as the great Craig Johnson.
would we be expecting a few barbs from the sideline, considering your, I'd call it a snub, snub from the team?
They're going to have to be barbs, because there aren't many players over the height of 6 foot. Corey Davey works his way inside there, gets a score. CJ wants to credit himself with the assist, not quite there, but yeah, I really don't know what the go is there, Scotty. I'd love to be out there, but I will tell you this, after having a shoot around today, and that was by myself going at probably the pace the game was going at, you know, constant 20-minute halves, and only playing offence, I would be on the wrong end of it as the Kings get a score there.
Oh, look, I saw the team lineups today, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be the only one on the wrong end of it.
Who would you suggest, as we quickly mull through here, as Dwayne goes on the inside, kicks out to brother Joel, who looks to the inside for Corey, misses, but that's all right, he makes a jumper. Who would you be subbing me in for, Scott, if you were on the selection committee?
Well, quite honestly, I haven't seen a full list of the media team. I've obviously seen the politicians and others team. I don't know.
Others? You mean celebrities?
No, others.
Don't rate anyone as a celebrity on that team?
Are there any celebrities? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know. It was a bit like that particular TV show on a particular network, which we won't mention for copyright reasons, where they went to a particular far foreign place and wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible. Backdoor cut. Missed by Davey. All the viewers at home getting very confused that every third player is Davey. Biraki, Dwayne goes with steal, but he gets through. Looks like Dwayne's had a haircut. Nonetheless, that hasn't helped him a lot. See CJ getting to the game a bit more here. A very good college player, CJ.
Indeed.
And I have seen the footage. I can't remember. NIH, was it? Is it NIH? The tournament CJ played in?
I remember it was for the University of Grand Canyon, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah, a really interesting finals game where
he actually had the almost a game-saving, well, pretty much a championship-saving block.
I'd say so, yes.
And then the assist with the championship-winning bucket. Substitutions made. Now, number 22 is Aidan McKenzie, has checked in for the Kings as Brezinchek checks out. Meanwhile, on the floor, we have Brad Vanderkamp, we have Joel Davey, we have Dwayne Davey, and we have the Johnsons. CJ moving very well for his age. Dwayne felt he was fouled, didn't get a call there. Dolliver just too big. Dwayne laughing it off, and that is going to be a what? Definitely a block. Lined him up barreled square. 1:40 remaining, 14-16 in favour of the Phoenix. But no, I would encourage everyone to get to the celebrity and media game. David Bartlett hired a few henchmen to take out a few players. I mean, he's too short to do the work himself, so may as well get the bigger bodies in. I had Anthony Stewart on the list, but I mean, even Anthony Stewart got snubbed from that game. So if JB and Stewie can't get a game, who can?
I think Stewie's probably got bigger fish to fry, hasn't he, that night than the celebrity game?
I'd be a little concerned if the head coach of the team that's playing managed to injure himself and not have the potential to coach one of the biggest games in recent Tassie basketball history.
And after one of the biggest games in recent Tassie basketball history, the Chargers will be taking on Geelong.
No comment there, Scott.
I think some people would like to think it's one of the biggest games.
Well, playing the Gales, it will be a big game. Shout out to Kyle Clark, of whom I went to high school with. Craig Johnson, we won the most athletic finishes we've seen out of CJ in a while. But didn't hit the deck.
I was talking about the celebrity and the media game. That'd be the biggest game in town, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. The college basketball standard will be phenomenal to the point where I actually think the Gales could come down into something like the Seagull and win the whole thing if they play. 35 seconds remaining. Biraki, a contested jumper over CJ. Good finish. 18-all. And actually a pretty intense game to start here. Scott.
It is. Billy's shown us a bit the last few weeks, hasn't he? He hasn't been scared to get a shot up.
And you know what? Fair enough too. With limited possessions, I'd be shooting the thing as well. Brad Vanderkamp from the mid-range is missed. Rebound by Joel Davey to Corey Davey. 8 seconds remaining. Got to get a shot up. Dwayne working his way inside, gets down into Joel. Got the dirt, Nowitzki fadeaway, scores! And that will end the quarter. Aiden throws it after the buzzer, it will not count. And at quarter time, 2018 in favour of the Phoenix, Coach Cook has approached the bench about something.
Do we knock that down as Aiden McKenzie's first Premier League shot ever?
No, we can't, because it was after the siren, Scotty. Much as I know you criminally like to do that. Nonetheless, it's 18-20. And yeah, an interesting first quarter.
Well, indeed. If it goes like this for the whole game, we'll be most happy, won't we? We weren't expecting this sort of...
Very much so, and I'm sorry, I wish we had the camera down on here. They're in the white shorts. They just stood behind the board, throwing it over the top, nothing but net. That was phenomenal. As you can see, some future Davey walking on the court. Young Max.
Yes, yes.
Not afraid of the ball. He's got those light-up shoes. He's not really afraid of anything, young Max, is he?
No, he's not. Now, I must say, I attended a meeting on Monday night, of a CAM meeting with all the heads of CAMs in Southern Tasmania.
Can you explain to me what CAMs stands for?
Oh, well, they're associations. It's another word for association. It does have a meaning, but it eludes me right now.
I haven't had an answer from anyone all year.
It's something like constitutional associate member, something like that. You know, they have a vote. The CAMs have votes.
Yep.
In the big picture.
And how did that meeting go?
Oh, look, the meeting was the meeting, but it was pleasing to hear a comment around the table about the streaming. One of the CAMs brought up that they're really, impressed with the stream we put on down here, and you do a great job behind the invisible microphone that we don't have. I'm sure if we get a sponsor and some funds, we might actually be able to afford a microphone.
That would be very nice to improve our coverage here at the SBL. And again, we are fully amateur, so much to the point where we pay for our own food.
We pay for our own data too to stream the service out. So.
Shout out to Telstra, Coca-Cola, National Pies and the Kingborough Sports Centre. Corey Davey gets inside and gets a score, extends the lead to 4, and neither side has really garnered a break. This is in fact the biggest margin of the game so far.
Yeah, so people do notice, and people are happy that they can stay at home some nights and still take in a game.
To be fair, there aren't many nights, as you've probably seen the crowd, Scott, where people haven't left home.
Oh.
Straightsman fouled hard, he's on the ground.
I'm not sure if it was a foul or he definitely tripped. I'm not sure if it was over CJ's foot or over his own feet, but he's up and about.
He looks a little dizzy. They've just checked on him. Again, you're going to play with the big boys, you've got to expect big bumps as they take off down the floor. And, it's very interesting to see just the squads tonight. And funnily enough, everyone being a bit more accountable for one another, just with this lack of talent out there. As Vanderkamp takes a mid-range from Noah Johnson, has missed. CJ hustling for the ball, and down he goes again. He's been hit hard again. That was a jump ball. And Noah's taken back-to-back big bumps. It'll be interesting to see how his head is in the morning. There's no doubt about that.
Really good to see him playing a bigger part in the game tonight.
Absolutely. Matty Nyhouse in the team.
Here he is again.
He's flying through the air. He's certainly not hesitant. Again, I think he's really going to try and prove what he should be in this squad. Corey's got a timeout very quickly in the piece. It's 8:43, 18-22. And Scott, do we actually have any graphics from? Or do you have any of the graphics that I sent through to you, Scott?
No, I don't.
That's all right because
did you send me something through?
I sent you about 9 graphics on Facebook. As shout out to a fellow university colleague there. Where am I? As I go through on my graphics that I sent you, because you're really good at this. Did I send them through?
I didn't say anything.
Boy, they probably didn't send. I thought they did, but they didn't. No, that's all right. Not a worry. I don't know where they've gone. I had a few things up there for us to use. They're not there anymore. It doesn't matter.
It's all good tonight. It's that exciting type of night, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fresh faces.
Well, while we're here, Scott, I do have a list of potential MVP candidates for the year. As we run through the women's potential MVP candidates, we have Banks, we have Davey, we have Finlayson, we have Collins, we have Dennis, we have Rolls, we have Greenwood, we have Barry McCauley, we have McCauley, we have Thompson, we have O'Neill. Now, how much of an impact does 63 points for Shana tonight have on that vote?
Do you want the truth?
The whole truth or nothing but the truth. Scott, what would you suggest? Without having prior knowledge of what the possible situation is.
Well, without having prior knowledge, I couldn't suggest. Oh, it should definitely be. Yeah, and it's 6 votes in the senior competition. There's 2 lots of 3 votes.
Yep.
So she's definitely going to be in for 6 votes tonight, you would think.
One would suggest, however, Sarah O'Neill dominating junior player of the year for WMBU. Van Sant gets inside, he's been called a foul. That's 2 there after the score down for the Phoenix. It's now 18-24 remaining, with 8-13 remaining in the first half. But
and I would suspect that Sarah O'Neill probably had a good game on the other court tonight as well. So
they ended up getting the win over Greenwoods United as Van Sant scores the first free throw. She has had a remarkable form of basketball in all areas, Scott. And you'd have to suggest she's got to be on the radar for both Seabull clubs in the Chargers and the Tornadoes.
I think,
and honestly, if she's not, I think it'd be quite insulting for a girl of her talent to be dominating 2 senior competitions. I mean, she nearly won the damn MVP up the coast. She's probably in contention to win it, if not be in contention, then win it down here.
Yeah. A great player, but in that, I mean, if you can throw up 40 shots a game, you're going to get noticed. There's not a lot of structure in the women's competition. And
big block by CJ.
Is that reminiscent of the championship saving block?
Extremely reminiscent. We can certainly find that footage for...
That just wound the clock back about 32 years.
It was the NAIA championship game, and CJ, very prominent. He did have I think he could tell you himself, he was probably struggling to find his groove a little bit in that game at points, and he certainly come up big when it mattered, because that's what good players do. Is he works his way inside, he's just not quite turning the clock back far enough on that one. Noah with a save, tried his best. Strathmore gets inside. That was a clean block. From my position, that score's been wiped. It did look clean for me. I think they're thinking they're lucky stars. It's only going to be a baseline shot, but it's 20-24 again. Only a 4-point game. And to be fair, the only person we haven't seen on the court tonight is our friend Pooey. What's the game?
I'm not sure if he's fit for this standard at the moment. He himself will tell you that he wasn't keen on playing tonight. He played a bit of social last night. He got knocked around fairly heavily last night.
Noah turning back the time, playing like his old man, getting the score there as Rosencheck gets to the bench. West didn't get fouled. Gives to Van Sant a nice dunk down, thanks to Nyhouse. Whilst on the other side as well, we have our friend, as we have a look at who we have there. We have Jordan Walker on the court with Van Sant, Stratsma, Nyhouse, and our good friend Aiden McKenzie. No, with another jumper, back-to-back jumpers, and it's only a 2-point, it's now a 6-point ball game, I should say, in favour of the Phoenix. Just threatening to blow out a little bit here. A bit more experience, a bit more athleticism, but there is certainly some talent this Kings side. As you can see there, Van Sant's baseline doesn't get fouled, not called in points, wants the call. Davey down the floor, don't get in his way, children. Gives it to Johnson for his third throw jumper, he's done it! He is on fire, and I mean, you've only got to see there, ladies and gentlemen, for a kid who was ejected from his first game of senior basketball this year, and in fact for his career. Now that is not an illegal screen. That was a decent box out. To be fair, Corey didn't try and push through it, but it's yeah, very interesting to see how they're playing. CJ down to Brad, who goes in again. Contested jumper has missed that. Sorry, not CJ, Brad. CJ gets a rebound, gets inside, and he was bumped. That'll be on the side. 24-30. Timeout coached by Cook. 5:44. Is that just a substitution? No, it is definitely a timeout. 24-30. And oh no. We got a bit of entertainment here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Thanks. Okay, we've got the And we're back. Now, that was the switchboard, Scott. What did they say?
Oh, just important calls, basketball calls.
Any chance of a contract from me for Friday night? Or
Well, look, I'm still. I thought that the phone would have lit up now.
Joel Davey with a fadeaway jumper, good. And Phoenix are really starting to blow this game out here. It's an 8-point ball game. 24-32, 5:38 remaining in the first half.
If the media team happened to go down, your lack of inclusion will be one of the key factors in that result.
Considering no one in Southern Tasmania has ever seen me play ball, hell of a compliment. Nyhouse with a jumper. Miss. Rebound. Dolliver. Rebound. Brezinchek. Miss. Wanted to call, didn't get it. Johnson on the drive. Dolliver in hard! And they're up and about. He's hurt himself. Johnson has hurt himself. He's hit the deck hard.
He's up and about though.
He is up and about, that's alright.
That's an exciting block when you're 8 points down. The bench loved it. They didn't love it so much down that corner when CJ shut him down. At 53 years old.
Yes, well, he's going to keep his age quiet, but I mean, for anyone out there looking to, and that slipped off his hands, he cut out of the corner there, Amos. He probably shouldn't have done that, but what's happening there? Brezinchek's asked a question. I don't know what question Brezinchek's asking actually. In fact, I'm not even sure what just went on there, but nonetheless. Play will restart. 4:44 remaining on the time clock. Dolliver with the biggest block of the year so far. Good backdoor cut to Walker. That's Nyhouse who nearly shuffled a bit. Brezinchek with the ball. 12 seconds. Backs Amos, loses the handle, gives it to Walker. Don't breathe on him because don't worry, he doesn't like the contact. I've played on him before. Dolliver's lost the handle. There was no strip there, and that's out of bounds. Substitutions made. Buraki and Strasford checking in. Our friend Westy checking out of the game. Jordan Walker should be staying in the game. Jordan Walker is staying in the game. Doesn't matter, substitutions are over. You've got to keep going now.
He doesn't really, he's a bit worried about what's going on there.
Lack of communication there. As CJ with the ball against Brezinchek. Kicks it out to Amos. Not afraid to fire a shot. Flatters attack and it's missed.
What have we got here?
They've called an offensive foul. That is on Amos running in unawares. As George Bush said, he was caught unawares. And that foul will be on him. He's a little frustrated. CJ just give it a word of advice there.
I've seen a lot of fouls tonight, JB. Very quiet on the foul side. 2-1 at this stage, halfway through the quarter.
Davey nearly pushed Stratsmere out of bounds, got away with it. Dolliver hits the deck. Johnson drives in hard, fouled and won.
He's having a quarter, the boy.
He's having quite a quarter. He's been by far and away their best player. In fact, he's been the impact player for this team. That's the reason they lead. That's a 10-point lead, as it should be on the score bench. And it is now, 24-34. With 3:52. There's a question being asked of Buraki. The basket was good. There's only one to come. Connor's got to get himself a new mate. That's all I'll say. Is Johnson only flicks that one up and missed. And
he's almost got his own rebound.
He got his own offensive rebound.
And this is the type of intensity these kids need to bring to these games.
Well, the thing is, though, it's this intensity, but it should be in all the games, not just the games. Good strip again, CJ Johnson.
Oh,
Dolliver.
That's probably untidy.
That's a little excessive. And he's not happy. They've subbed him out of the game.
Frustration.
And a double substitution here. It's going to be Corey Davey coming in and Vanderfeen checking in. CJ checking out of the game. And Joel Davey also checking out of the game. And that is just a lot of frustration building up there. Things not going the Kings' way this quarter. And they're, at the moment, they've got to just try and psych him out, Scott.
Yes, indeed.
We'll try and get that windowsill removed eventually, people. If anyone shoots from the corner, we can not get them at any point, but that's all right. Good up and under. And is that Vanderkamp?
Red Vanderkamp.
I've been calling him Vanderkamp all night. Vanderkamp, I should know.
Apologies to Essendon fans across the nation.
Vanderkamp. No, that was Van der Haar.
Oh, well.
Vanderfeen
was Clarence, was he not?
Yeah, and he's a Tassie Hall of Famer, played for Ulverston as well. 26-36, 2:50 remaining in the first half, and it's interesting to see Corey Davey come on a little bit of physicality. I noticed Greg Dolliver hasn't tried to bang around with him too much.
Well, it's a little bit like Jurassic Park, isn't it? It's like two big old dinosaurs. One sat down and one came on.
Oh, Davey was fouled, but that was before the shot. That'll be baseline.
Corey probably not so much a dinosaur, more of a gorilla.
That foul was, yes, well, a gorilla with calf problems, we'll call it. As Jordan Walker checks out, and who's number 16 again? My God, why am I losing?
That's Westy. That's our
Westy?
good friend Jake West.
It is definitely our friend John West. John Westy.
We want him on the line before the end of the game. We need him on the line.
That's a baseline jumper that's missed. Over the back by Davey. Hustles hard for the ball. He stepped out of bounds. He just didn't quite have the balance, and out he goes.
Tripped over the sideline.
Well, it's happened many a time. Many trips on the sideline and many blocks by the rim this year, Scotty. There's no doubt about it. Quick to one! Whoop, whoop!
Boys not excited down the Kingston bench.
They're
over
very
that block.
quiet, actually. To be fair, there was absolute no reaction from the Phoenix bench. Just another day in the office. Brezen checked with the baseline jumper. Goes to give it to Salmon West. Didn't happen. I've mistaken him and Aiden McKenzie.
Aiden McKenzie.
Davey to Vanderkamp. Gets a pump fake and score just. I tell you what, 63 points will win the game tonight for any team. And 63 was Toronto scored alone, so you do the math there. Into West. He's fouled. No score on that was unfortunately not the shooting motion, Scotty.
Oh, give him shots. Give him shots.
He's walking to the line. He's not going to get them. And it'll be Brezen checking the side. 26-38, 155 remaining in first half. And, very interesting there. Van Sant's got plenty of room to work. Davey with a very quick shuffle. Good elevation by Van Sant. He's missed. As Dwayne Davey comes down the floor. Corey Davey running next to him. Amos and Johnson to hopefully receive the ball, but not much happening there. Gives it to Vanderkamp down low. Gives it to Corey even lower. Gets up and under and scores. And that is a 14-point ball game now. 40-26, and it's threatening to blow over, Scotty.
Oh, well, it's heading that way. We know when margins go over 10, it starts to make hard work of it. And they'll need this to drop.
And they don't. We see Davey guarded by West, who's above the three-point line on him. I don't know why. Amos, one player to guard at 3. Corey Davey occasionally played guard at 3. Vanderkamp's inside again. Tell you what, used his pivot well, used his dribble. He's a smart operator there at times, Brad, and that shows why it's 26-42 with a minute remaining on the clock in the first half. Van Sant guarded by Davey. Gives the ball to Biraki, guarded by Amos. West posts up. Tell you what, I don't know whether that was just a bad pass, but it's gone out of bounds. It's not going to matter. 48.4 remaining, a 16-point ball game, and very interesting to say the very least. At least 2 full possessions here. You'd have to suggest they're going to go for the 2 for 1 here, Phoenix.
I mean, this game would have been a great preview of the qualifying final in a couple of weeks. But,
absolutely right.
But as is now, it's really just a game of...
And that's why. Oh, big rebound. Strathmore has been playing well. Has probably been the best player for the Kings so far. Again, Van Sant getting back in the votes. He's had a good finish to the year, Van Sant. There's no doubt about that. Another defensive stop by Phoenix. Johnson's just going to go in on the layup. Acrobatic up and under, foul, hit the deck, no call though. He scored that, and he has had a monster first half. 12 seconds remaining, 44-26 in favour of the Phoenix. Ball to West, not foul, down to Van Sant. On Davey, up and under on him, missed, rebound by West, score. 3 seconds remaining, they've got to get the ball in. They're just going to dribble it out, doesn't matter, they've given up on it. And at half time, after now finally being able to take a breath, Scotty, it's 44-28, and yeah, I just think Phoenix need to get to the drawing board, and it'd be interesting. I think Greg Dolver's stability mentally for the rest of this game is going to be the factor.
I think he's had, rightly or wrongly, I'm not saying he's had it, but in his mind, he's had a fairly ordinary run with the referees over the last part of the season.
Yeah, he does feel like he's been a bit robbed there, Dolly, but we here at the SBL are here to keep quiet on situations. There's a 63-point lady who's walked onto the floor, and Rose Michael over there doing some sort of cheerleading routine which worked out to nothing. And we'll see how Shana's shots falling. Yep, don't know how she scored 6 with that again. She did play Kingborough, who have not had the most fortunate run this year in regards to their imports and some injury concerns to the likes of Taya Stevens, who was crucial to that squad. But it'd be very interesting, Scott. I mean, we're sitting here, we're watching essentially a watered down, and no offence to the players out there, but it is a watered down version of what will be the qualifying final. Over the women's side, it looks like Glenorchy is going to go through. They've got to drop 2 games in 1 week next week to not be top spot for the women.
Well, they've got to buy next week, so they won't be dropping any games.
They are absolutely sold. They are home and delivered. Same with Glenorchy in the men. So essentially, just playing, not even playing for bloody fun at the moment, just playing to get through the season. When you look at the factor of Hobart playing United in the women, Kyla McCauley a big factor, but Sarah Marston being out for the United squad is going to be huge for them.
Sarah Marston was really starting to hit her straps this year. She had a good year to the point where she had that very unlucky knee injury. I can't remember if it was the week before or only very early before that injury. She'd scored, I think she'd scored into the double figures, 20 odd points in a game, and was really starting to find her feet.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that all goes, and she's going to be a 12 to 18 month injury there. Who do you like in the women's comp, Scott? For me, it's definitely going to be a Hobart versus Glenorchy final, but the factor is, who do you see possibly winning that type of game? Because I think Glenorchy and Hobart can both beat Clarence. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but as we take a quick ad break, we'll be back to you in a moment.
Welcome back.
Okay, we're back. We've had a requested shout out to the crew over there, which is going to be Shana, Taya, Rose, Sarah, and their friend. I don't know who their friend is, but they get a shout out. We're getting rung. It's like birthday requests on the radio, Scotty. It
is. It's becoming more popular every week.
Whoa, Dwayne rising. Stratford getting the follow through. But again, just as we were headed to that rude interruption from Rose on the other side of the court, who do we see winning the women's competition, Hobart or Glenorchy?
People will say that Hobart are overdue. I mean, if you look to your left now, JB, you can see the trophy for the Women's League, with Hobart not actually taking one out since 2009.
Well, I'm not looking. I am looking to my left, Scott, and I can see you. So
the left of the camera.
I'm all right. We do have the trophy, and I'll tell you what, we didn't have a premier for the years 76 to 82, 94 through to...
Oh, no, it starts with a spinning move.
Through to 88. I'm just looking at this. We've got Spartans, Ramblers, that you and I obviously played well at.
Ramblers, so they're one of the old, like a foundation club of the South, really. There are a lot of those early clubs that don't exist anymore due to districts and different CJ.
The Johnson family and the Davey family are dominating this game so far. A bit like the Syracuse Nats by the sound of it. A defensive effort again. We couldn't quite get that on camera, but that's all right. A big steal there by CJ. Yes, as we look at last year, Clarence getting the win. Wellington in 16, Grenadiers in 15, Wellington in 14, Deers in 13, Clarence 12. They're back-to-back Deers. Hobart having not won since 2009.
And I think Hobart would have seen themselves as the favourite last year. And I think, well, they led most of the game and only got rolled over in the last quarter. And
one thing to note too, in this potential Hobart-Glenorchy matchup, is the fact that the Spartans actually haven't beaten a full, that includes Kylie McCauley, a full Hobart side this year. In fact, the matchup they had as a full squad, they won. Hobart took that out by 20.
Yeah, I think Clarence's advantage is their physicality.
Absolutely.
They're a very physical team, and they will wear you down with bumps and...
And the tip in there is missed. And there's an over the back. No, that's just an out of bounds substitution. Corey Davey coming into the game. But yes, it will be very interesting. But again, that big three of Glenorchy has rolled all year, and it's going to be very hard to stop them, Scott.
Yeah.
Astute analysis on that point there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to say two of them bring the muscle, and one of them just brings the dead eye shooting, don't they?
It's ridiculous. And the thing is too, they are just like the big three of the Chargers. No travel called. Good cross-court pass, and Van Sant is unable to finish, unfortunately. But I mean, you've only got to look. That is a good no call there. Surprised it was a no call. Thought the whistle was going to be blown. Usually is. You've only got to see too. Then, like the big three of the Chargers, they have that ability to actually pour in 70 points a night between them with these. As substitution is called, our friend Mackenzie checking in for Brezinchek, who I'm surprised is actually being subbed out. Thought him, Dolliver and Van Sant would have been 35 minutes tonight at least, but I mean, at 16 points down, maybe Coach Cook's just waiting for the next couple of weeks. If Davey's going to be hitting jumpers like that, I'd be pretty resigned to the fact as well. Good rebound, which wasn't a rebound. Strathmore loses the handle, saves the ball. Defence by Johnson. Good cross-court pass there. Aiden's missed that. Rebound by Davey of Joel, but I tell you what, Scott, it's nearly all over Red Rover.
Yeah, it's getting that way. I think, getting back to the girls, Phoenix aren't in yet. You know, they had a rough trot with Josie Greenwood of recent times. They haven't been able to get over. She's been their sort of bogey woman as such.
She's certainly, especially in the women's comp, she's a 20 rebound, 20 point kind of girl. And she's very smart. I mean, she does have that Lobo experience. She does have that Chargers experience. I mean, the late Oni being her mum, you know, she has a tremendous amount of firepower in the genes. Hugh being a former junior Australia representative, having played Lobo basketball as well. She brings the pedigree, and I tell you what, the pedigree alone, along with her ability, almost does overshadow at times what that Hobart team is about. But again, without your second, now that is going to be a foul. No, it's not unsportsmanlike. In fact, it was nearly going to be a carry. Substitution whistle has been blown, but it'll be very interesting. I think the fact that Sarah Marston is not there is going to be a deciding factor.
Hobart will go in as a favourite, but if they lost, you wouldn't think, wow, that's an upset.
Hobart has had one of those seasons. I think injury again a big factor there. You know, Kylie had her struggles, and just a few different things with representative sides and you know, games and stuff like that. You know, you can't help that. Every team suffered with that, but
Molly Sillett probably missed the first half of the season.
Exactly right. So you've only got to see, and the Kings offense just breaking down there, just wasn't going to work. But yeah, it will be interesting in the men's. Whoa.
I mean,
a full Phoenix side can beat a full Kingston side, but a full Kingston side can very much beat a full Hobart side. But I don't think either of them, honestly, Scott, unless Kingston, honestly, I think it'd be Kingston. If anyone's going to take it from outside of Glenorchy, it would be Kingston. But, I mean, they'd have to play almost a perfect game. As Stratchmer is lighting it up here, and it'd be players like Stratchmer, as we mentioned, that would have to light it up. They have to be on their absolute best in order to beat them.
They would.
Because you've only got to see recently. I mean, the last couple of weeks, Jack and Terry have had awful games by the standard they've set this year, and all of a sudden you've got Moo, who just pours in whenever he wants. Good strip by Dwayne, that's out of bounds.
I mean, that's one of the things about the league, looking at this game, and we'll call it import-free, for want of a better word.
Do you know what, though? I don't necessarily think, though, that that's a bad thing.
No, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Oh, low post away on CJ. He's not phased by that. The technique wasn't there. He wasn't worried about the shot. But, was that another the door or was that me?
I don't mind.
No, I think that was me. We'll keep that at me at the moment. The door wasn't quite loud enough. But again, I think this is the best time for young players, particularly with the Seabull season wrapping up, and you know, even with some of the younger players, with regular minute guys in the SBL, to really push their case for
that was nice passing.
4 more senior selections, and to also, you know, show their ability to get more minutes in the coming season. I mean, the under-23 roster will be starting up soon, the All-Star roster, so there'll be no doubt that there'll be players wanting to get into there and really strut their stuff amongst their peers and maybe even try and stand out from them a bit more.
Yeah, that's a good roster.
Hell yeah. I love that roster. It's good to go and watch.
It's great. I missed it last year, unfortunately, but
A little occupied it during those times, Scott.
I just didn't get over there. Didn't have the time, I don't think.
Score there. I believe that was DJ. Who was that?
That was Corey Davey.
That was Corey Davey. That is a foul. That is on Joel. It's definitely on Joel. It was definitely Corey Davey. I figured it was Corey Davey. That foul was not on Corey Davey.
I'm not sure if the scores hit the board yet. I had 50-32, but
Yeah, it's 50-32 up there.
I had before the score 50-32.
Well, we'll see what happens. 13-13-32 if you want to ring the old John Law's number.
We haven't got the golden microphone to be behind that.
Don't worry.
If anyone wants to purchase us a golden microphone.
Now, that has to be absolutely the correct call. It's 52-32 as you can see, Scotty. They have updated the scoreboard.
Well, Van Zandt's had fine form really the last few weeks, but I think he misses his co-stars.
Absolutely, and I think that's what sort of hurt him too. He's found that form, but he's had no one to work with him. No point blowing the siren now, that doesn't mean anything. Johnson's had a hell of a game. He was fouled on the drive. That'll be 2 shots. CJ not happy. They can't believe it. Timeout has been called. Corey Davey asking the question to Woodcock. Woodcock, he's going to ask the question there and he's explaining it.
I see a lot of people question referees' decisions. We see it every week. We see it in every competition, every league
Around the world.
I don't think I've ever seen a referee change his mind.
No, I can say the only time I've ever seen a referee or an umpire change their mind was in football, down at watching the Pointy Crows play. The player was kicking back in from out of bounds, and of course, you know, in local football, most of the rules are old school rules, so you have to kick over the man on the mark. Well, the player decided from out of bounds to not kick from the. I think he was either not kicking over the man on the mark back into play, or he was handballing. So we gave the umpire our opinion from the camber. He soon brought play back. The player squibbed the kick, and that was all she wrote there. But it's 54-32, 3:45 remaining here in the third quarter. It's pretty much all over Red Rover. Scotty, as we were talking about the men's game before, what do you think is crucial to beating the Spartans if they're at all beatable?
Oh, it's really hard, isn't it? If you can't stop Terry, if Terry decides that he's going to have a night and just going to score,
Don't worry about it.
you've got to come up. You've got to come up with a plan to stop that. And I'm sure it's possible because there is no one anywhere that's unstoppable.
Not well. Put it this way: we don't have the elite NBA player. If we had elite NBA players playing in this league, they'd probably be unstoppable. But guess what? At the end of the day, they're not here, so we don't have to worry about that.
And I think a lot of the players out here probably concentrate more on their offensive output than their
defensive input. And I think that's why, again, you've seen a few young people exposed tonight, and we're going to have to go to... Scott's going to leave. We've got a quick ad break there for Scott. That's a foul on Geordie Walker. Grab your Mars bar, Scotty. Thanks very much. And Johnson, the inbound to his father, and again, as Scott mentioned, a lot of the offensive mindedness of the game today is why defence isn't certainly worried about. I mean, someone like a LeBron James and James Harden for NBA comparisons gets put into the MVP conversation. Did he travel? No, he was tripped. That'll be 2. A lot of those players don't get put into, they get put into an MVP conversation, but they don't play a league of defence, which is something that a lot of young players today get exposed for. They play a lot of offence, and then they're not used to a little bit of contact, a little bit of defence. They have a bit of a wind that throws them off their game, and their mental strength just isn't there. So, substitution, Amos checking into the game for Noah Johnson, who has been absolutely dominant, would have to be the 3-vote getter in this game for me. His father Craig playing some great defence there himself. Giving a bit of advice down the line as Joel Davies scores. My Mars bar isn't with me, but thanks for that, Scott. Doesn't matter. Joel Davies with the first one. And Scott, have we got another signature to the petition for me on the media game next year?
Yeah, that was actually that was Hank Petrusman on the line.
Hank Petrusman on the line.
And he doesn't understand it either.
So a shout out to Hank there, a good friend of the Hobart Chargers. We'd love to see him get me on the quarters. Geordie Walker takes a shot and he's missed. Certainly not a senior player, Geordie, but it's games like this that you want to expose your talents and try and get a bit more experience. 56-34, 3 minutes remaining.
Did you think about talking to Coach Hansen today while you saw him in at Warrane earlier on today?
To be fair, I don't think Coach Hansen will remember me from last year. He's probably still bewildered by what he actually saw on the court last year. Don's vision not as good as it used to be. In fact, I can imagine Don won't wear his glasses to the game on Friday night as to not hurt any future possible vision repairs.
Did you get a Guernsey last year? I didn't ask.
I did not get a Guernsey.
You didn't get a Guernsey last year, and you look.
I have the exclusive, the courtside footage of David Bartlett hitting the boxes as he falls out of bounds on the travel call. That is my footage. That was my filming. I was part of that. I did a bit of filming for that one there, so that was quite a lot of fun. But again, I got the NC job, which will be very good. I wouldn't mind even having a crack at that in the regular season. As Amos works the boards and gets the score, but I mean, I'm open for anything, Scotty. I just know that the potential for people to leave quicker is with me with a microphone in hand than it is with a basketball in hand. So
I'm sure it'll be entertaining, if not anything else.
Sorry about that. You wouldn't have seen that, people. That was behind the. That was well out of our vision, no matter how you rotate the camera there.
Behind the pole, there's the pole.
We'd like to shout out to the lady on the far opposite side of the court. If she's listening, please, flash photography off.
I think she's just doing it with a phone.
Either way, we don't like it. Sorry about that, people. Jordy Walker.
She's probably snapping a few pictures of the grandkiddies so she can put it up on her Insta.
No doubt. Instagram, not Instagram.
3 points.
And who is that? That's our friend Aiden McKenzie.
Aiden McKenzie.
58-37. It's a 21-point ball game, 2 minutes. CJ taking it easy on the young fellas, but not so much. Oh, cross it over, float inside, foul, not called.
Deserved the bucket there. Deserved the bucket.
One of the foul didn't get it. He's looked up at us. Oh, present check. Walker has travelled, no call, and Davies just left him alone. He's missed that. No, I don't mean to be rude, Scotty, but if you've got young fellas playing a big person's league, you've got to be playing by their rules, and you've got to be officiating to the standard of which they're playing in, not of which their talent level is at.
I'll leave that right alone.
Thank you very much. Oh, damn.
I'll hang you out to dry on that one.
Cheap shot, not called.
I don't think Dolliver's known for his cheap shots, is he?
No, not that I'm aware of. No. Shield's probably the 2 cleanest players in the league.
Yep.
Big hard foul there on Dwayne. Joel works his way to the mid-range. Dirty Bankers missed. And what have we called there? They called that one. They've called a foul on Amos there, but Dolphin got away with the shoulder charge there. Not a la Dallin Milburn on Stephen Silvani, but nonetheless got away with it. That was just a long pass that was never going to work. As I said, the offense has just collapsed here since about halfway through the second quarter for the Kings. And Scotty, they just haven't recovered.
No, without their full lineup, a lot of these guys wouldn't have been working with the offenses over the season.
Pass down by Johnson
nice
to Davey to Davey.
Davey to Davey.
Pooey with the towel wave and the hand clap. He's the best teammate in the league. Dolliver looking for the inside pass has missed. Now he's going to run back down the court. Certainly no momentum there, so no hard foul. Davey at the top looking to give to Davey, who's looking to give to Johnson, who's probably looking to give to Amos at this stage or get the dribble. Good defence on Walker, good up and under. And there's a foul, yes, finely bodied. Walker puts his hand up, he acknowledges it. But it's good to see the young kids going at the elder statesman of the game, Scotty. Nonetheless, with respect.
I think they still like to. It's a feather in their cap to take the ball off the great man.
I think it would be a feather in the cap, but I also think that a bit of Uncle Drew comes out in CJ, and that he's certainly happy to take him to school and show him just how it's done.
I think so. I think that's one of his motivations to still be playing the game.
Unfortunately, though, he didn't quite make him the foul line. He's not a bouncer at the foul line, CJ.
Well, he was previously used to put the ball behind his back. It looped around the back.
A la Gilbert Arenas.
Maybe the muscle dexterity isn't there anymore.
Well, I've seen him play the best defence all night and cross about 5 blokes under the age of 20 up. I'm going to not question the bloke's dexterity. Oh, big foul! Not called. Amos, rebound.
He's got himself up and grabbed a rebound, so...
Obviously not as impactful. 18 seconds remaining, 61-37. Dolliver looking to get some contact, didn't get it. Pass down to Davey. Dolliver's not going to challenge that. Gives it to Johnson, steps into the three. Should have travelled, didn't. Gave it to Amos, who steps in. 5 seconds. Out to Dwayne. He's got to get the ball. He's lost the handle. 3 seconds. They've called travel.
Well, 2.5 seconds. What are we going to get?
And 2.6 remaining. I don't think it matters what's going to happen.
We're going to get a score. What do you think?
Foul.
A foul. Who's going to take the shot to get fouled?
Davey. Well, he took the shot, wasn't fouled, got the miss. Not far away there, and at three-quarter time, it's 61-37. It's all over Red Rover. We could probably end the live stream here, but I mean, what else are we going to do, Scotty? We've got to do something.
Exactly right. There's still plenty to talk about.
And the dead air tells us exactly what we're talking about. 52 seconds remaining at the end of the quarter.
I mean, I thought we were going to have Shana up this week. I thought she was going to pop up.
She's dogged us again for the third straight week in a row. Shana!
Very disappointing.
Shana!
Where is she? She's
out
there
at mid-court.
She's out there.
She's released that cleanly. Oh, nearly nailed it. Thompson not listening to us at all from here at the broadcast.
I think probably since she's got a Guernsey, I'd go as far to say since she's got your Guernsey in the media game.
She shot over the hoop there and missed.
She should be up.
Shana! Come up here.
She's too busy.
No, she's waved at what? Why have you stolen my position on the team? No! No! Now who's getting invited up? Rose giving us good lord. What are they doing, those girls? Good lord. Anywhere there's a camera there to be seen. Shana directing the meet. See, and again, this is why she's on the team. The media officer of the club, directing the younger players up. Rose is out of... They're both out of... Oh, God, I think they're both coming up, Scotty. We could be in some trouble here. This will be very, very interesting. There's Sarah on the far side with tail. Getting a look in there. No sign. Oh, they're in the canteen line. They're definitely in the canteen line.
Right.
Well, they probably won't be going much further than that. But yes, we have requested week in, and considering she's possibly just set an SBL women's record scoring.
Well, she has. Let's call it.
Well, let's be honest, we're calling it.
There have been some great players in the women's SBL in recent times, though, and we forget. Without knowing, I'm sure Kayla George would have thrown a few big numbers in her season.
And you can imagine some of the imports too that have played that have simply not played consistently or have just gone through the motions had they decided to open up at times.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Amos uses a back pick. Hello, we've got entry into the crowd. It is definitely Rose and Charlotte. They've entered the building. And we're finally in here. Now, rumour has it, we're going to close the door here. Rose, did you let Shana score 63 on you tonight?
Yes.
Okay, we've cleared that up. That was very simple.
You're taking responsibility for that, Rose?
Yes,
and you actually scored 63?
Yeah.
Now, rumour has it you've stolen my jersey to this media game on Friday.
You can have it.
Well, you know what? I don't think that's going
happy to swap it.
Well, no, you're right, because, I mean, I shot around today and it just wasn't that good. But we're here, since we're here with one of the grand final favourites, what is the key for your team in the women's comp, Charlotte, in order to make the grand final?
I think we're just going to work together.
And what's the key to working together? Letting you score 60 a game? Or?
63. I think it'll start from our defence once we get D-trans.
You talking about defence?
Well, our team. We got
A team to... Ah, right.
We got to go anyway.
Right, thank you for joining us, girls.
Bye.
See you, Rose. Thank you very much. We've finally scored the exclusive interview we've wanted all season, Scotty, and let's be honest, we got bugger all out of him anyway.
I think it was a fizzer, JB. It was a fizzer.
Very much a fizzer.
We've waited all year for that. His fizz. Meanwhile, Phoenix roll on with 6 points and the margin's now 30 and looking to go to 31.
In the immortal words of someone I know, good lord. That's...
Don Crespano's just entered the building on the baseline, one of Hobart Phoenix's Italian benefactors.
Scoffer, I'm gone. I was all worried about that Pete Stone jump shot from Corey David.
You don't want to get yourself on the wrong side of Don Crespano because you never know where you might end up.
I mean, Jesus, could end up at Kingborough.
No, you won't end up at Kingborough, trust me about that. But
Brad with an hesitation dribble, gives it to Davey, fades away off the glass, he's missed that. Big rebounding there, not there, 28-point game. Joel Davies being called for the foul, he doesn't like it. And that's a substitution. He's arguing the point. Connor, tell you what, I give Connor a bit of credit there. He does not He doesn't let them
He
intimidate.
doesn't get too flustered, the boy.
No, he just ignores them, and good on him too. I don't know how old is Connor?
Connor
17, 18?
Connor plays under 18s. He's bottom age under 18, so he'd be 16.
16, 17 years old, and he's trying to do his bit for the world, Connor. He's a good little ref. And
Definitely one of our... Look, you'd note him as one of our senior referees, even at his young age. He's one of our senior referees now.
And he's pretty bloody good at his job too. You don't hear many complaints about old Connor Westwood and his ability. Now that was a double dribble, it wasn't called. Davey with a casual foul there. Not unsportsmanlike, but a casual foul. And I just looked down on the bench here at the Kings, and Dolliver's got the hoodie on. Do you reckon he called it a night?
I think he has. I think frustration. You don't want to do anything silly and end up with a tech foul or ejected or at this.
And we know Greg, he's a very clean and studious player, and not once have we seen him ejected or unsportsman or technical this season.
He's got a spotless record.
Spotless in the way of never having not had a clean game, maybe, but we will continue on with that. CJ's put it on the spin cycle. Back up by Corey, was fouled at the basket. Was cleanly fouled. We could see it from here. Don't argue the point. And that'll be a foul. Checking in for the game is our friend Noah Johnson. Noah checks in, and
he'd be fairly pleased with his efforts tonight. Noah, he's
you'd have to suggest so. The Phoenix looking very comfortable. I'll be back in a sec, Scotty. You just got to go and drop the kids off at the pool, and I'll be back momentarily.
Momentarily. Didn't know your kids could swim.
I better keep that there, Scotty, otherwise you'll have no...
He's been called for the charge there, Corey Davey. Yeah, he's been called on a hook. He's not happy about that. A look of disbelief on his face as he takes the long walk back to the other end. Coach Cook and CJ involved in a little discussion over that call. Van Sant from a long way out, not successful, and Hobart bring the ball back again through Brad Vanderkamp. Johnson to Johnson. Has a look inside to Joel Davey. Joel Davey takes him quite easily to the hoop. Back to Corey Davey. Nice handoff. Muff the shot. Back in Hobart's hand. Not long to get a shot up. Joel with a forced shot. A bit of confusion around the shot clock there. Noah Stratzman adds 2 points to his tally. Phoenix just moving the ball around the outside. Straight into Joel Davey. Shut down by Adam Van Sant. And they're off again, Kingston. CJ, faster than he looks. Joel Davey checking in. Corey Davey checking out. Noah Stratzma. Rebound picked up there by Mason, and another 2 points to the Kings. Noah Johnson to Vanderkamp, back to Craig Johnson. Inside to Dwayne Davey, the hook and up. Trickled round the ring, didn't drop for him. Noah Stratzma holding himself well there, getting the ball up the other end. Aiden McKenzie. CJ says they'll have that, thanks very much. Noah Johnson inside to Brad Vanderkamp. Dwayne Davey at the top. In CJ's hands, looking inside. Looped it round the top. Joel Davey with a jumper. Sat up there for a grab. Van Sant is the man who gets his hands on it in the end. Aiden McKenzie with a nice layup, wouldn't fall for him. And we're back down the Hobart end. Davey, some fancy footwork out to Vanderkamp. Usually good from that range. CJ picked up a rebound. Lovely pass to Brad Vanderkamp. Couldn't finish it.
Tell you what, Scotty, if I'd have known you could commentate like this in the time I'd been doing the job, I'd have saved half of my voice. But I'll tell you what, no saving those kids, they drowned. It's quite unfortunate. We can fix it up. Time out there, and the scores closed the gap a little bit.
Kingston have had a good little run while you're away.
They have had a good little run, but good luck closing. They've got to score 22 points in 4 minutes, and they've managed 45 in the previous 36.
They're not going to do it, but they're not going to give up, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. It's been a gallant fight, but that's just how it goes. Notice the boys seem to be able to find the camera when they're reffing. It's just something to keep an eye on. They don't mind a bit of me time, the old refs.
Well, they don't get a lot of it.
Well, no, they do, but they don't realise they're getting it. That's the problem.
I do believe, and I have been reliably informed that they do watch the streams intently after each week to...
I have also been informed in that. In fact, they tell me themselves, but that's all right.
I would look for their mistakes, maybe. Critique a few of their reffing partners.
I don't know. If you ask a few of them, I wouldn't suggest they could find a mistake, Scott. But nonetheless, everyone seems to be a perfectionist. I mean, I watch all my own gear, all my own work back, turn it up pretty bloody loudly and set it to repeat for a couple of times, but that's all right.
There was a little bit of disappointment earlier on in the night when you were looking at the news coverage and couldn't find yourself on there.
I was very disappointed. I had photos sent to me. I was made aware that I had been on the news.
Sounds like you might have ended up on the cutting room floor, old boy.
No, I was probably on the Southern Cross News, not the Wing Television News, or perhaps even the ABC News. But nonetheless, I must have been on there, and I'll be taking expressions of interest for any possible employment when they can. A beautiful pass by CJ blocked, unfortunately, and that's the NAIA ability you can see there. Strasbourg's got a dribble, he needs to use it, but...
CJ has a great basketball IQ, and no matter how old you get or slow you get, the IQ puts him in front of a lot of the players out there a lot of the time.
You do have to question that a bloke who's been playing the game for 30 years and played borderline to the elite level, borderline NBA talent.
Travelled with the Harlem Globetrotters also.
Well, I mean, what's that tell you? I mean, his brother DJ, a finals MVP, an all-defensive superstar, one of the best defenders in the guard position in league history, in world history, really, not just the NBA. His brother, flying over the rim. Name escapes me at the moment, Scotty.
Yeah, me too.
But there is footage.
I can't help you there.
There is footage flying around of a man at 6'3", having his chin above the rim. I don't care who you are or where you're from. That's mad, mad skills. As we.
Well, it's well known. When Craig first came out, going back, well, gee, it was a while ago. Here to Tasmania. Incredible jumping. He could dunk anytime he wanted. He's not the tallest fella out there.
He's only about 5'9". No, look, pass!
Corey Davey giving...
Get about it!
Giving our friend Jake West...
oh my God, what is he doing? That is the most uncoordinated inbounds pass in the history of mankind.
No, to his... you didn't see it bounced off someone's foot, and then to save it from going out of bounds, he did pretty much what he did there. Threw himself on the ground.
Oh God, he threw himself on the ground. The team's been thrown under the bus. It's all happening here at the Kingborough Sports Centre. 2:39 remaining. 71:45.
He should be taking. Corey is showing him how to play the big man right now.
Well, I'm going to suggest that he was a fish out of water. I'll tell you what, that is not Pete. That is not Pete Stone. That is Mini Me. That's how short that jump shot was.
Well, is that one of the missing factors for the Kings tonight? There is no Pete Stone on the bench.
Well, I don't know.
The Australian tracksuit top's gone back in the wardrobe.
I mean, Pete Stone could be down there. We just can't see him.
He might be sitting on the floor in front of the bench.
Yeah, probably in front of Greg Dolliver. That's probably why we can't see him. No, look down to Corey. That has been a dominant display for the Phoenix so far. And I think a bit of a message towards the rest of the comp that these senior heads still able to ball, get it done. Nice little runner there. Wonderful stuff there from our friend... bloody Jordan Walker. He's been dogged at it tonight, and you can't blame him for his efforts. 1:57 remaining.
I'm not 100% sure if it might be Jordan Walker's first senior game tonight. So
you have to think so.
And if it isn't, it's probably the first game he's hit the court in at the senior level.
Well, you'd have to think so, but certainly a good young player there. Doesn't really like the contact, but again, he is only a smaller body, so that can sort of be explained.
I actually don't know. Who's the guy next to him?
Oh, I'm just working on that. That would be...
He's like Mason's doppelganger. I thought it was Mason there for a minute.
Matty Nighthouse.
Matty Nighthouse, number 15.
I have called his name a couple of times tonight. Unless NY has just been accidentally added to his name, but I'm pretty sure it's Nighthouse.
Yeah, it is, yep. And these guys are the future of Kingston. They really need to put the development in now.
But you've got to give these guys minutes. I mean, I've talked about it all year. I mean, tonight's one of those nights where they'll probably have been unlucky anyway. Violation not called.
There you go.
Couldn't see it. That's all right. Doesn't matter. I don't think that's going to change the result of a 30-point game.
They still get excited on the Kingston bench. That's the main thing.
Yes, they are getting excited. Oh, no, the pass! Bang! The Johnson family and the Davey family are on absolute fire tonight, Scotty. In fact, considering no imports, it's been one of the highlights of the night. Our friend Aidan McKenzie took a shot out of shot then.
And there's certainly some talk around circles that next year may well be an import-free season. So you need to develop these young guys to a certain level and let them have a bit of experience, because you imagine, well, we've seen the Kings tonight without Trey. Having said that, they don't have Lucas, who's a big hole.
Well, I mean, he's two of their three biggest scorers, but at the same time, you've allowed the rotation. I mean, Michael Clapsis isn't out there tonight either, and he's been a big player for them. But I mean, you've only got to see on the opposite end, there's no Geordie Hargrave.
Noah's hurt himself. Noah's cramped.
Yeah,
he's cramped up, I think.
Cramping up, I reckon. But I mean, you've got he's done. I reckon. He's just got to stay there.
Yeah, I mean, you take out Lockie, Geordie, and Robbie Inches, and you've taken out the bulk of the Phoenix scoring.
And it's a big load of scoring too.
So they've done it.
Ego, mind you, I will say this: the ego of the team certainly balanced out with Geordie being absent, but you don't worry about that. Cal Barker, another big out.
Cal Barker's had a rough trot. He's had some really good games, and other times he struggled.
I think one thing that hurt Cal is we count down the last 10 seconds of the game. This one's over 79-51. One thing that hurt Cal too is just slight inconsistencies with his good and his bad. His good was really good, but I mean, a big guy like him coming in and having 12 points when he could be having 25, 30 points with 30 rebounds, very difficult. But nonetheless, this game is over 79-51. The Phoenix take it in what is a watered-down preview, as we mentioned, Scotty.
Oh, look, I don't think we'd call it a preview. We couldn't call it a preview at this stage. We just call it. It's almost a dead rubber, this game.
Yeah.
There's nothing will be taken from that from either team on the game in 2 weeks. Basically, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after, and I don't think there'd be one bit of form in that game that would carry forward.
And I mean, one big thing going for the Spartans too, they're going to have almost a 2-week layoff before they play in that grand final, so they're going to be well rested. Any chance to heal some injuries and get some practice in there is. But if we were going to go to the votes tonight, I'd be stuck between picking. Probably, if I was going to look at it, I'd be picking between Noah Johnson, Craig Johnson, and Joel Davey on the Phoenix side there, Scotty. They'd be my 3-2-1.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, look, Noah's definitely in the votes.
I'd probably give Noah the 3, really. Yeah. And the reason I do that is the game was out of reach once he started to light it up.
Yep. I think Corey it was quite. He played big inside, and
him and Dwayne, they filled their roles out very well. But I think Joel's ability to add the scoring and whatnot certainly helped, but CJ's defence certainly can't be unsung.
No,
that's for sure.
No. And I think the Kings can take something from that. With
Absolutely.
They've put a lot of minutes into some young kids tonight, to the point where Noah's ended up with a cramp at the end of the game. He's probably played more minutes than he's used to.
I mean, he probably played more minutes than his season combined.
And he's probably got this next game coming up as well. So
yeah, got to rest him up. And I mean, this is the sort of game that proves too that someone like a Noah is crucial to that side, and maybe if you chuck him in the rotation a bit more with an Elijah to give him a bit more of a spell, or rest a few of these players, as we see Sims walking into shot there. They are, as you mentioned, the future of the club, and with the potential of no imports next season, the ability to expose these guys. And I think one thing too, just as we finish on that note, one thing to really think about too, Scott, is how diluted do you then go when you bring reserves players in next season? Because I mean, the top tier talent that is the imports certainly does raise the level of competition, but at the same time, you can't be bringing too many reserve players up, because then all of a sudden you start watering the level that is the senior competition for the future.
I think the thing is that we do have the imports and they do raise the level of the competition, but it takes away from the ability of other people to get better. And while they're not getting minutes, they're never going to get better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk, and probably not talking out of school, but there may only be 4 teams next year. Because I think, especially at the women's side of the competition, we've struggled to field 5 quality teams. And I think and it's strange really, because the Wolves don't have the worst lineup in the world.
No, well I don't laugh at it, but I look at it this way too. You look at the way in the men's competition, someone like the Southern Wolves, who, when you look at the players who have played for them, if you took the best of them, then they're a perennial contender to play finals. And I mean,
they played in the grand final last year.
Yeah, and I mean someone like United, who, when you put them on paper and put them all together again, honestly, it can be a deep 5-team competition in the men's, and I mean to the extent the women's, that if you were to maybe make it a 4-team comp there and strengthen those lower sides, then yeah, you have a competitive competition. But the problem is there's a lack of consistency in attendance.
Yes. But if we brought together 2 of the teams, be they Kingston and Southern Wolves on the women's side, would they still be any better? Do they have the depth of talent between the 2 teams to still make a competitive unit? Probably not.
But then at the same time, you also look at senior players like an Alex Finlayson, who's a local. How do you go about keeping her wanting to play when you've got such a deep talent pool? I mean, she's got plenty of SBL experience, she's got plenty of SEABL experience, but at the same time, if she's carrying all that load, Siebel-wise, does she want to take a step back and let others move up? There's a whole lot of questions to ask about it.
What we really need is for people to almost lose their club allegiance in some cases. If we want a good competition, we almost need to say, you need to play here, you need to play there. It's no use having, you've got your Glenorchy and Glenorchy's, you can't really use the example of Glenorchy because last year they were last. They've recruited well
in both, I mean, not the men. I mean, the men. Clarence won last year.
They've picked up some players in the girls' team.
Yeah. But I mean, too, one thing, even if it gets to a point there where maybe you look at clubs and say, look, we need you to pick your 6 absolute best players and they can be a lock for your club. Everyone else is free range to where they want to go, because at the end of the day, your elite 6 for someone like a Clarence and a Hobart is a hell of a lot deeper than your elite 6 for a Wolves.
And the problem is, though, when you, like you say, so you're going to have 6 protected, we'll call them players?
Yeah.
And are the others free to move, or are they can be picked by someone else and they might not want to move? We're not dealing with finances and money. Some kid might not want to leave his club. He might have been at Clarence since he was a little kid. And I'm staying there.
Yeah, through allegiance. But yeah, it's a question to be asked, and I mean, we'll know more about that as the season comes around next year. But I mean, for the moment, it's definitely a 2-team, and for me, it's a 2-team comp in the women, like as far as absolute elite chances. And at the moment, it's honestly probably it's probably a 1-team comp really in the men's at the moment, but can be a 3-team comp on any given night. But outside of that, the competitiveness certainly needs to be looked at. And I mean, certainly you've got to assume that will change if there are no imports next year. Anyway, Scotty, that's been us for another week. Next week, round 20, Glenorchy with the bye, so the Spartans won't lose out the men's and the women's. They'll go straight to the grand final. And
Kingston will be playing Southern Wolves. Probably not ideal preparation heading into the qualifying final the next week.
Absolutely not. I can see Clarence putting up more of a fight against the Phoenix, but at the same time, you just never know what's going to happen. Anyway, that has been us. For Scotty Boucher and the incumbent media personality that is not on the Chargers team, Justin Bryan, thank you very much for listening to us, and we'll speak to you next week here at SBL.
Good night.